Okay, so I wanted to give you a real quick crash course on what you're going to see for that quiz today. Now, you should be able to see this paper only, but I'm basically reading from the notes that are in the instructions for the quiz. So let me know if you, for some reason, weren't able to see the quiz, to open it. There's a quiz link. That's what you're supposed to click. All right. So I put on there if you wanted to use our little graphing calculator, that'd be great. Or if you wanted to use Desmos, you could. So either one of those are totally acceptable. I'm okay with that. All right. You know how the vertex is always an X and a Y? Now, one thing I want to point out is, the questions are going to ask you about the axis of symmetry and the max or the min. So on the vertex, the X coordinate will always stand for your axis of symmetry. And the Y coordinate will always stand for your min or your max. Now, the way that you find the vertex kind of depends whether you have a vertex form, all right, or if you have standard form. I know this is just review. This is just to kind of prep you real quick, like I do the first 10 minutes of class before we quiz typically. All right, so a parentheses x minus h squared plus k, and then standard form's that other one where it's all multiplied out. So if it's in vertex form, the vertex is h comma k. And the reason that is, I don't like to think of it formula-wise, but I always think, if h is negative on the inside, then it's going to be positive on the outside because you're moving, this many units to the right, and you're moving this many units up or down. So this one will always match that one, but this one will always be the opposite of that one. Okay, so that's your vertex. And if you're in standard form, this is the one that's a little more complicated. It's negative b over 2a, and then that's just how you find the x part of it. All right, if you want to find the y part of the vertex, you're going to have to take whatever this negative b over 2a was and actually plug that in for x, probably using a calculator. And that's going to give you the y part. All right. Now, let me see. If you wanted to, you could graph these on Desmos or your graphing calculator. So like if I did 2x squared minus 4x plus 1, if I graphed that, that would be the vertex. And if you were using the calculator, you'd have to use the minimum command. All right, second calc and minimum. Go to the left of it, press enter. Go to the right of it, press enter, guess, enter. So the vertex would be 1, comma, negative 1. All right. What else is on that quiz? The min and the max, that's the y value to find the vertex. So you can use the calculator. Here it's doing it by hand. I'm actually just kind of reading from the notes is what I'm doing right now. Okay. So if it opens downwards, these are going to have a maximum. And if it opens upwards, these are going to have a minimum. Okay? Now, the way that you can tell algebraically is by looking at the A term, okay? Whether it's in vertex or standard form. If A is positive, then it opens upward, all right? And if it opens upward, it has a minimum, okay? And if A is negative, then it opens downward, obviously. Those are only two options there. Now, if it opens upward, the range, if it opens upward, the range is going to be something to infinity, which on those, it's going to be the y is greater than or equal to symbols when they open upward. All right, but if it opens downward, it's going to be y is less than or equal to, all right, for the range. Yeah, so whenever they open downward, they go down to negative infinity, and so this is going to be the less than symbol. All right. What else do we have to convert? Man, all right, there's a lot on this thing. So this is like numbers 5 and 6. They're going to give you something that is in, let me just use my example actually from here. 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. There's like a lot of different ways that you can solve these out. All right, so they're going to give you something in standard form, and they want you to write it in vertex form. So there's several ways you can do that. Let's say, actually, I'm just going to do this off to the side so I actually know the answer. Wait patiently, please. No, I'll do it in front of you. So to find the vertex of something like this, we're going to do negative b over 2a, which is positive 4 over 2 times 2, so that's 4. So the x part is equal to 1, 4 divided by 4. All right, and then we're going to plug this back in to find the y part. So 1 for x, 1 for x. I guess we already knew it on the calculator, didn't we? But, all right, so 2 times 1 is 2. Well, it's 1 to the second power first, but that doesn't matter. 4 times 1 is 4, then minus 4, and then plus 1. So you get negative 1 for the y value. So that's our vertex, is 1 comma negative 1. Now, if you were saying, if you're doing this the right way, this thing is moving 1 unit to the right and 1 unit down. Now, if you were writing this in this form, that would equate to y equals, for 1 unit right, we need to subtract on the inside, so x minus 1 squared, and then plus k, but we're going down 1 unit, so that's a minus 1 there too. And then whatever the a term here is the same a term out there, so I'll put a 2 out here. So that's the right answer, and that's the right way to do it. If you wanted to do it another way, you could just pick some random number to plug in for x on the original. Let's say I did 10 stored to x and just did this 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. All right, so the original gives me 161. Now I'm going to check my answer options. So, you have 4 multiple choice answer options. I'm going to do the same thing down here. And the correct answer is going to match this 161. So if I do 2 parentheses x minus 1 minus 1, I also get 161. All right. The other, I can give you 3 ways here. The other way you can do this, or if you wanted to check your answer, you could graph it. Graph the original, and then go down here and graph the answer options. Of course, if you're doing this on Desmos, it's a little easier. So if you want to graph them on the same grid, you can. And you'll notice that they are the exact same graph because the first one was already graphed. And when they graphed the second one, it was just right on top of it. Okay. But if you were to graph, say one of the incorrect answer options, this would be like an incorrect answer option here. All right. If I were to graph, the original with the wrong answer option, I would be able to tell that they were different. That's the original, and that's the other one. So they are different. All right. That's another way you could do it. And I think that's all I have at this point. That's like 10 minutes, so good luck on your quiz, guys. If you want to ask a question or something, you want to jump on Zoom. I know I'm here from 8 to 11 and also from 12 to 3. I may be able to answer your question.